hello. I started reading a new book. It is a self-published book by a queer author. It's called Level Up by Paisley Rose, I believe. And it is this like contemporary rom-com about, so the main character is this girl who, she lives in Toronto. Yay, Canadian author. She lives in Toronto and she kind of feels like she doesn't really know what she's doing with her life or where she belongs, or just like a sense of stagnation and placelessness. She's 26. She works part-time at her mom's stationery store, and then is like kind of a casual cozy game streamer where I think she streams like a couple nights a week. And so she's feeling kind of like, doesn't really know what she's doing or where she's going or what she wants. But she's also dealing with, there's this game she loves called Stones of Aor, and it's this like classic RPG that like there's 3 games out and the 4th one is coming, and it's like her favorite game. Like it's a huge game through her life, but it doesn't fit with what she streams. And so when she did a speed run of Stones of Aor 3 as a sort of like almost celebration of the 4th one coming out, a lot of people responded to that stream by accusing her of like cheating or faking it or telling her like to stay in her lane kind of thing. And so like that's making her feel even more like she doesn't know where she belongs, because like even when she's doing this thing she loves, she's not welcome there. And she follows this other streamer who is called Scones of Aor, and he plays Stones of Aor. And he's this like semi-faceless streamer. You only see him from here down, or like I think here down, because she only ever talks about his mouth and his chin. And people have been commenting on his streams about her speed run, and he just like doesn't respond. And she takes that as him just like not caring to defend her, and is like pretty bitter about it because this was a streamer she really, really liked. So that's like the core premise of it. Like that's where she is starting out. But where I'm at now, we're starting to get some of the setup of stuff where I think she has met the Scones of Aor guy, but doesn't know that it's him just based on how he was reacting to her. And he also has just commented on one of her streams, and she's like, this guy was watching my stream also, but also like the way he commented, it came across as if he was trying to like mansplain to her how to play the game she was playing, when like as a reader I know he was genuinely just trying to like give her a little tip. So I'm very curious to see how this dynamic ends up playing out. I will say I think this is just it's a glitch on the part of Amazon or whatever, because this is a book that I got from Amazon. It's like self-published through KDP, and I got the ebook copy of it. And I don't have a Kindle or the Kindle app. I don't care to get one. So I'm just reading it on my browser. And there's a bunch of weird, like, glitchy things happening on certain words where, like, the letters are, like, broken or backwards or fused. And so it's really weird. But I think that's just Amazon being dog shit. I don't think that's an issue with the actual book, because like I would adjust the text size to try to like have a more comfortable text size to read on my phone, and like the placement of the glitching of the letters would change. And it's not constant, it's here and there, but it's just like a weird thing that I wanted to flag, particularly because if anyone else is weird like me and wants to read a Kindle book on their browser, they will likely encounter the same thing. That's enough rambling. I'm going to go back to reading because I'm actually really enjoying this book. Really quickly, awkwardly jumping back in with a quick thought, because I almost forgot to say this, but I think it's really funny. So all of the games that the characters talk about in this book so far are like, well, there's a couple real games that are referenced, like Elder Scrolls is referenced, but most of the books that the characters actually talk about like playing and that are like described in the book are made up. But like some of them you can tell like what they're based on. So one of the games she was playing is called Steampunk 1877, and I just think that's so fucking funny because it's a play on cyberpunk, and I just delightful. So I'm now 85% of the way through Level Up by Paisley Rose. I forgot to update. Or rather, I just sat down and read like probably 60 or 70% of the book in one sitting. And the only reason I'm stopping is because I need to make supper because I've been reading for like 2 hours anyway, and I should eat. I really like this book. It is a very fast read. It's a very fun read. It's a very immersive read. And I really like these characters. I love their chemistry. And I think the book is doing a really interesting job of exploring. So, the main character, Audrey, I can't remember if I mentioned this, she's ace. And so, this is kind of the first time that she's really felt this way about someone. And it's like a lot of the book is her just navigating that and figuring out what does she actually want and like in a relationship, and like how to go about that, how to have these conversations. And I think it's doing a good job. I really enjoy it. I also appreciate that Damien is bi because we love bi rep here. I will say it doesn't really bother me, but this is something that I could see kind of irritating or like jarring other readers out of the text. In a lot of Audrey's internal monologue, especially when she's like reacting to things, she doesn't really swear, and so she'll think like holy heck and stuff like that. And I know other people would find that annoying, but to me that just fits her character. Like that is indeed the kind of person she is, so it doesn't really bother me. And it's supposed to be part of like she's supposed to be a very like awkward, shy, weird person, so like that again, it just fits. I find this book really fun. I don't really know what else to say. It's not a very complicated book. There's not a lot to talk about in terms of the plot, or even the character work, like outside of it just being about these characters learning how to navigate. Like both of them are really socially awkward and like not super experienced, so they're both struggling with aspects of the communication, but like they're working on it and they're both open about the fact that this is something that they struggle with. So I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I don't really know what else to say. I just kind of want to go back to reading it, but I have to go make food first. So I'm gonna eat supper. I'm gonna try and finish this book, and then I will, I guess, have my final update. Sorry for the sounds of cooking in the background, but I just had another thought while I was getting my food ready, and I wanted to say it before I forget. It is important to note, yes, this book has an asexual main character, but part of the story is her exploring her sexuality and what relationships mean to her, because she's not a romantic, and so part of it is her exploring like what that looks like for her. And so there is smut in this book. It is open door smut scenes. They're pretty good smut scenes, but I just want to make sure I acknowledge that because I know it would be easy to assume that if a book has an asexual main character, then there's no sex in it, but there is sex in this book. Hello. It's not that long since my last update, and I finished reading Level Up, and it's really good. I love this book. 5 stars. I was initially, when I was getting to the third act conflict, I was a little bit like, why are we doing this? Why does this need to happen? Because it's like, it's a drama that is ultimately external to the characters, kind of, sort of. But like, as it was unfolding and like heading towards the resolution, I did like it because ultimately it is about the things the characters have been struggling with and like what they need, how they need to grow as people. So I did ultimately like that. And I don't know, I just thought it was really cute. And I thought it was well written. I enjoyed the banter. I liked all just how nerdy it was. Like, it's so nerdy. And apparently that's the thing I really like, is nerdy romances. So I should read more of those. And I liked the mix of like prose, and in between each chapter there's these like little bits where it's like the text promo of like a fake game, or like a review of a fake game, or snippets of dialogue from the fake game, specifically Stones of Aor. And I just I really liked that touch. And I also liked all of the like online messages exchanged between Audrey and Damien. It's really cute, and I really liked it. For Bi Bingo, technically you could put this book down for long distance communication because they talk on the phone and they talk over text message, and that's a huge part of the book. I've already checked that off though, so I can't do that. And none of these other things apply to this book. So I'm not checking anything off, even though Damien is bi. And so if you count a love interest as a major character, which in a romance novel I do, or not a major character, a main character. But I can't check it off because I've already checked off that square. But for other people who are looking for things to read, if anyone else is doing the buy reading thing that I want people to do, then you can put this book on there. And yes, I highly recommend reading it. It's really good. It's really fun. I wish I could have read it in a single day. I was so tempted to just sit and read it in a single day, but I could not because I have responsibilities. Anyway, super love this book. So glad I read it. I will probably check out other stuff by this author. And yeah, those are my thoughts. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please leave some sort of gaming related emoji, like a controller or something, in the comments. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!